It's kind of like, you know, we talk about abandonment issues. You feel like God's abandoned you. But that's a lie. How do you know? Because the truth is, He will never leave you or forsake you. Lo, I will be with you always, even until the utmost ends of the earth. I'll never abandon you. No, I'm still there. Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it. Again, I guess that if you just aren't feeling it, are you going to live by feelings or are you going to live by faith? What's faith? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence, keyword, of that which is yet unseen. I don't see God's hand anywhere in this. Yeah, they have a word for it. It's called faith. And by the way, could it be, and I'm preaching to the preacher here right now, could it be that God has allowed that situation, affliction in your life for the simple reason that He wants to test your faith? Are you going to believe and keep the faith and remain steadfast in this crisis of faith? See, we see a crisis of faith as being losing your faith. I'm losing hope, I've lost faith. But there's a different kind of crisis of faith, and I would suggest it's worse. Let me explain. This crisis of faith is because you have faith. So much so, your faith is such that you know that God could instantly change your circumstances, but doesn't. And that crisis of faith, I think, is more intense than the crisis of faith where one just loses faith, confidence. Because you know that God effortlessly, instantly, He doesn't even have to. I think about it in the Gospels when Jesus, He would always point it out. My daughter's demon possessed. My son needs a healing. You don't even need to go. All you got to do is speak the word and they'll be healed. Jesus is like, whoa. And this is a teachable moment. Did you see the faith like that? I haven't seen faith like this in all of Israel. By the way, your son's healed, sir. By the way, Mom, your daughter is no longer demon possessed. He did it instantly. All he did was speak the word. That's the problem. We know God can do it like that. But for some reason, He's chosen not to this time. And we start taking it personally. Like, what's going on here? You know, the healings. Yeah, this is why there's not a pattern in the healings. None of the healings followed any kind of a formula, because you know what would happen if that were the case. We would just insert tab A into slot B in order to get healing C. Remember that one account? The pool of Siloam? The blind man. Again, I find the humor in it. Jesus, he spits, makes mud, and puts it on the eyes, and the guy's healed of his blindness. But he doesn't do that the next time he heals someone that's blind. Why? Because he knows that we'll start up the first church of the spit in the mud to heal the blind. Because it's so now we've basically put God into this finite box of our own understanding, and now God has to do the same thing the same way at the same time every time, and when He doesn't, we freak out. Maybe that's why you're going through it, because God wants to test your faith, prove your faith, even when everything in your life contradicts everything you know. about the God in whom you put your faith.